Title: During a family dinner, I accidentally bumped into my wife's mother. She slapped me hard in front of everyone and yelled, "How dare you touch me, you disgusting man! Clean my dress and get out." To my shock, my wife said, "Apologize to her or leave." I left the dinner, but when they got back home, a shocking surprise awaited them. Chapter 1. The slap that broke everything. The clink of silverware and the low hum of conversation filled the lavish dining room of my in-laws' estate. My wife, Lydia, sat beside me, perfectly composed in her designer dress, laughing softly at something her brother had said. Her parents, especially her mother, Evelyn, watched every move like royalty inspecting peasants. I had always felt like an outsider in their world. A small business owner, a hands-on contractor, I wasn't refined like the doctors and entrepreneurs surrounding the long marble table. But I loved Lydia. That used to be enough. I leaned slightly to pass the salad bowl across the table when it happened. I bumped into Evelyn's chair, barely. She gasped theatrically as if I had spilled acid on her. "You disgusting man," she hissed. Then, smack! Her palm landed across my face with sharp precision. The room went dead silent. My cheek burned, not just from the slap, but from the collective stare of every guest around the table. I started, stunned. She stood, inspecting her designer gown as if I had ruined it. "Look at this. Touching me with your filth. Clean my dress. Now, then get out." I turned to Lydia, surely she'd say something, defend me, step in. But she didn't. Instead, with her wine glass still half raised, she said coldly, "Apologize to her, or leave." For a second, I thought I'd misheard her. Then I saw it. The slight smirk her brother failed to hide. The way her father leaned back, amused. I wasn't part of the family. I was the hired help they tolerated. The charity case their daughter married during her rebellious phase. I didn't speak another word. I stood up, adjusted my shirt collar, nodded once, and calmly walked out, past the shocked faces, past the staff, past the family portraits I had never been in. As I reached the door, I paused. I didn't slam it, I didn't curse. I just smiled, because they had no idea what was waiting for them back at home. Chapter 2. The locks had already been changed. The night air bit against my face as I stepped outside, but I didn't feel the cold. All I felt was clarity. For the first time in years, I wasn't trying to belong, I wasn't begging for scraps of love or respect. I was done. I got in my truck, drove home, and when I arrived, I did exactly what I had been quietly planning for months, just in case things ever went too far. And they had. First, I opened the smart home app on my phone and tapped, "Deactivate access." Every key card, code, and fingerprint saved under Lydia's name and her parents, gone. Second, I opened the garage. The boxes I had packed over the last few weeks, documents, valuables, cash reserves, and my tools were already waiting. I had learned to be ready. Marrying into wealth doesn't mean safety, it means control. I had been, quietly building an exit. And now, the exit was open. By the time Lydia and her family returned later that night, drunk on wine and arrogance, they were met by a surprise. The key fob didn't work. Her mother pushed the intercom, "Open the door right now." I didn't answer. Instead, I activated the speaker system. My voice rang out from the porch camera. "Lydia. You told me to leave, remember? So I did. You also told me this house was yours? Strange. The deed says otherwise. Also, Evelyn. You wanted your dress cleaned? I dropped it off at Goodwill, along with everything else that came from your cursed lineage." There was a pause. Then chaos. They banged on the door, rang the bell, shouted threats. But I wasn't inside anymore. I was across the street, in a cozy Airbnb I'd rented for the week, watching it all unfold on my phone. Sipping bourbon, smiling. Then my lawyer texted. "The first round of filings are ready. Do you want to go nuclear?" I replied with one word. Absolutely. Chapter 3. The detonation begins. By the time the sun rose, the first cracks in their world had already formed. Lydia woke up in a hotel, courtesy of her father's black card, no doubt, and found herself locked out of all our joint accounts. I'd closed them the night before. Her frantic calls came in just after 6 a.m. I didn't answer, but I did save the voicemails. Her voice was a chaotic symphony of confusion, rage, and desperation. What the hell is going on? Where are you? Why isn't my card working? And what do you mean you moved out? I sent her a text. Don't worry. You'll get answers soon. In court. Then came the company group chat bomb. Remember that family business they all looked down on me for helping manage? I had spent the last decade quietly building its digital backbone. Payroll, security systems, tax records, vendor contracts, all routed through infrastructure I designed. Before I left, I handed over access to their biggest competitor, along with a tip about some questionable accounting practices Lydia's father had swept under the rug. A full-blown audit was scheduled within the week. Her one she laughed off as a cute little backup when we signed it. An eviction notice from the property. My property she'd claimed was hers. A letter from the lawyer of a nonprofit that I had secretly funded, thanking her for the massive donation she unknowingly made when I liquidated and redirected all her gifts to me. Final line of the letter. You mocked the man I was. But you underestimated the man I became. Chapter 4. Ruins, Regret, and Realization. The news broke just after lunch. Socialite family under investigation for tax fraud and charitable misconduct. Headlines flooded local outlets, then spread nationally. Lydia's father went radio silent. Her mother, humiliated and forced off every board she'd ever boasted about, locked her social accounts and issued a vague statement about private family matters. But it was Lydia who felt the brunt. By sunset, her influencer brand had lost its biggest sponsorship. Her luxury skincare deal pulled out, citing reputational risk. Comments on her posts turned brutal. A liar married to a fraud? She slapped her husband's dignity, and now karma slapped back harder. No wonder he walked away like a boss. She tried calling me again. I let it ring, then blocked her number. But the final act came at her feet. The next morning, Lydia stormed into my lawyer's office, unannounced, mascara running, eyes hollow. She had a crumpled tabloid in one hand and a printed copy of a wire transfer in the other. You gave away my car, the watch I bought you? My attorney calmly slid over the prenup again. Technically, he gave away what he rightfully owns. You didn't just cheat on your husband, Lydia. You underestimated a man who loved you. And now, he's gone. She collapsed into the chair. I didn't think he'd ever leave. He was just so boring. Quiet, always fixing things. Yes, my lawyer replied, and now he fixed you. Outside, I stood watching through the window. My new apartment overlooked the same skyline Lydia used to post on her socials, the one she claimed we'd never afford. And beside me? My daughter. The only one who came looking for me that night, crying and apologizing for not standing up for me at dinner. I don't want their money, Dad, she whispered. I want to work with you. Learn what it means to build something real. I smiled, finally, really smiled. Legacy rebuilt, respect earned, and for the first time in years, peace. Epilogue, a reputation rewritten. 6 months later, a new article surfaced, this time in a respected business magazine. The man they mocked at dinner is now leading a multi-million-dollar community plumbing enterprise, and he's hiring people they all once ignored. There I was on the cover, not in a tux, not in some rented spotlight, but in a work shirt, sleeves rolled up, next to a fleet of vans with my company logo. Second chances, plumbing and repair. Because that's what I believed in now. Second chances. Except not for everyone. Lydia was working part-time at a boutique, her social clout gone, her family still tied up in lawsuits. Her rich ex? Long gone. Apparently, he'd only shown up to our wedding to humiliate me and vanished when the money dried up. Her parents disowned her, said she brought shame to their name. My daughter? She co-manages marketing for my growing business and is attending school part-time. She told me one day, "You're not just my dad, you're the definition of resilience." And me? I got invitations from the same elite families that once sneered at my job. I never responded. Some doors, once shut, don't need to be reopened. Final line: I wasn't a loser, I was a builder. And the life I rebuilt, brick by brick, stood stronger than any mansion ever could. Was this revenge perfectly justified? Tell us what you would have done in the comments below. Like the story, share it with someone who needs this energy, and subscribe to Rabbit Stories for more jaw-dropping tales of betrayal and justice. Because here, every lie has its reckoning, and every betrayal finds its shadow. Stay sharp, stay strong, and stay tuned.